Hello and welcome, kids. Welcome once again to your science classes of grade 4th. As you know, we are doing the topic 2 from your science course book that is about teeth and digestive system. So, this is the part 4 of that particular topic. In this video, we are going to discuss about the topic microbes, okay, in a little bit detail. But before that, let me uh, review the topics which we have done in this particular chapter. We have done about the teeth, that teeth are present in our mouth on the upper and the lower jaw, and the teeth help us to bite, to cut, and to chew food. We have two sets of teeth, that is temporary teeth and permanent teeth. Okay, temporary teeth. Temporary teeth is also called milk teeth, and it is 20 numbers, and at the age of 5 to 6 years it starts falling. Okay, it was written over here at the age of by the time the child is about 2.5 years old, he or she has 20 milk teeth, and it begin to fall off when the child is about 6 years old. They fall one by one, and the new teeth grow in their place. And the new teeth are the bigger than milk teeth, and they are known as permanent teeth. There are 32 permanent teeth in an adult, 16 in the upper jaw and 16 in the lower jaw. Okay, then we have studied about types of teeth on the basis of their functions. We have different shapes and sizes of teeth, and there are four types of teeth: incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. Then we have studied about parts of a tooth. Two parts it is having: crown and root. Then there is on the crown there is white substance that is called enamel. It is the hardest substance in our body, and below the enamel is the hard dentine. Inside dentine lies the soft pulp, which forms the central part of a tooth. It has blood vessels and nerves. Then we have studied about certain teeth related problems like plaque, that is the yellow sticky layer which grows due to germs on our teeth. If proper oral hygiene and brushing and cleaning of teeth is not maintained. Okay, then there was the cavity problem, bad breath, toothache, and indigestion. Then we have studied about what are the ways by which we can protect our teeth. That means you should brush your teeth twice a day, in the morning and at night. Clean both the inner and outer surfaces of teeth. Visit a dentist in every 6 months. Eat fruits and raw vegetables. Avoid eating too many chocolates, sweets, and sticky food. Rinse your mouth after every meal with water to remove the food particles stuck between teeth. And then we have studied about digestive system, that the process of breaking down of food into its simpler substances, or we can say that into its constituent nutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, minerals, fats. It is called digestion. That process only is known as digestion, and many organs work together to digest the food. These organs form a system called digestive system. And then we have studied the process of digestion. That means the what are the particular organs, in what sequence they are associated with the process of digestion. So first was mouth, which in which there is biting and cutting of food with the help of teeth, grinding and chewing of food. And then the food, during chewing, the food get mixed with a liquid called saliva, which is being secreted from salivary gland present inside the mouth, which makes the food moist and helps in digestion of the food. Then the second was oesophagus or food pipe. The food from the mouth goes down the food pipe and reaches the stomach. And third is stomach. The stomach is a sac-like organ where the digestive juices break down the food further. And then there was small intestine. It is very important because here the digestion of food is completed with the help of digestive juices released from the walls of the small intestine, as well as some of the digestive juices is released by liver, and it is being reached to the small intestine for the proper and complete digestion of the food materials. Okay, and one more thing, that the small intestine, it is richly supplied with blood vessels, and in the small intestine only, after the complete digestion of food. Complete digestion of food means what? The food has now been broken into its smaller constituent particles, that is the nutrients. So these nutrients are now being absorbed by the walls of the small intestine as well as the blood vessels in the blood, and which transport or carries these nutrients to different parts of the body. So liver function, already I have told you that liver also produces a digestive juice called bile that helps in the digestion of food, and bile moves into the small intestine for digesting the food. Then there was large intestine. What was its function? That food that cannot be digested in the small intestine, it comes into the large intestine and it absorbs the extra water which is present in the undigested food and then forms feces. And I have told you what is feces. It is the solid waste produced inside our body, okay, in the large intestine. Its simple function is that whatever food remains undigested, it comes to the this large intestine, and here the extra water which is present in this undigested food item, it is being absorbed, and with after absorbing the extra water, whatever waste material is left over, that is being converted into feces or the solid waste, and this feces, this solid waste is being excreted out through the last organ of the digestive system, that is called anus. Okay, that is what written over here, that feces pass out of the body through the anus. And one more thing that was for extra information, that the small intestine, it is the longest part of our digestive system. It is about 6 meters long. Yes, small intestine, this was the small intestine. It is the longest part of our digestive system. What is its length? Its length is about 6 meters long. And then we have studied about certain healthy eating habits, that we should always chew our food well. Okay, we should not eat in a hurry. We should chew our food properly. Then we should eat a balanced diet to stay healthy, so that we could get all the nutrients, all the required nutrients for our body to maintain its proper health and well-being. Then we should eat lots of fresh fruits and green leafy vegetables every day, because fruits and vegetables are rich sources of vitamins and minerals, and they are protective food. Drink plenty of water. Yes, for proper digestion of food and for body to maintain its body temperature, you should take plenty of water, lots of water, at least 7 to 8 glasses of water you should drink daily. Always wash your hands before and after meals. You should wash your hands properly with soap or some liquid hand wash before and after taking meals. Okay, so this much we have done in this chapter. Today we have to start a new subtopic of this chapter only, that is called microbes. So first let's start with this definition of the microbes. Microbes, this is the abbreviation. They are also known as microorganisms. They are known as microorganisms or microbes. Okay. Microbes are very tiny living things. They cannot be seen through naked eyes. Microbes are found everywhere. Some microbes are useful and some are harmful. Yes, so this much is the, you can say, the introduction or the definition of the microbes, that how we are going to define microbes, that these microbes, they are very tiny living things. Tiny means very, very, very small. So much small that you cannot see them with your naked eyes. Naked eyes means with your open eyes. It is not visible to us that yes, we are able to see these microorganisms or microbes with our eyes in and around us. No, it's not like that. These that's why their name is microorganisms or microbes. Microbes meaning is only very tiny, very, very, very small in size and shape. Okay. So that is the meaning, that microbes are very tiny living things. They cannot be seen through naked eyes. They can only be seen through an instrument that is known as microscope. Okay. With the help of microscope only, we can be able to see the microbes or microorganisms. With our naked eyes, with our open eyes, we cannot see them. And these microbes, almost they are found everywhere. Everywhere means they are present in water, in soil, in air, generally almost everywhere in and around us. These microorganisms or microbes are present. Now the thing is that some of the microbes, they are useful and some are harmful. Both types of microbes exist. Some microorganisms or microbes, they are even useful to us, and some microorganisms are very much harmful for us. As you can see in this present scenario of this COVID-19 infection, it is also caused by a microorganism called virus. It is a viral infection, and this time this microorganism is very, very, very harmful for the humankind, for us. That's why all these precautionary measures like to stay in home, to maintain social distancing, to not go out unnecessarily, to cover your mouth and nose while sneezing or coughing or while going out, all these precautionary measures is being followed by all of us as per the directions of the government. Okay, so the same thing is written. Now we can see over here in the book also that microbes are very tiny living things. They are also a kind of living things, but they are very, very tiny, very, very small. Okay, so they come in the category of living things, but they cannot be seen through naked eyes. Means we cannot see them with the help of our naked eyes, with our open eyes. They can be seen only through a microscope. So yes, some instrument must be there through which the scientist or the whosoever is doing research on them must have seen them. So yes, they have seen them. Scientists have seen them with the help of an instrument that is called a microscope. With the help of this instrument, these microorganisms may be visible. Next line is that microbes are found everywhere. That likewise I have told you right now that they can be found everywhere. Everywhere means to say that in and around us, whatever things are present, whatever biotic or abiotic factors are present in and around us, they can be found everywhere. Where maybe in the soil, maybe in the air, maybe in the water, maybe in the food materials which we are eating. So they can be found everywhere. Now the thing is that the some microbes, they are useful and some are harmful. There are certain microorganisms which are useful for the mankind, and we are using those microbes for some of our purposes to fulfill our eatable needs. For some purposes we are using those microorganisms and they are useful to us also, but in some cases, as I have told you right now about the COVID-19 infection, in some cases these microorganisms turn out to be very harmful for human beings or even for animals. Okay, so now let's see what are the types of microbes. As you can see in this flow chart also, microbes, and they are of four types. First category is of bacteria. First microorganism is called bacteria, and the disease caused by this bacteria, they are called bacterial infections or bacterial diseases. Second is viruses, and the disease caused by these viruses, they are known as viral infections or viral diseases. In present scenario, this COVID-19 or coronavirus, it is a kind of viral infection. It is a kind of viral disease. Okay, and it is very much dangerous. Third category is of fungi, and the disease caused by this fungi is called fungal diseases or fungal infections. And the last category is of protozoa, and the disease caused by this protozoa, they are called protozoal infections or protozoal diseases. Okay, the same thing, it is being depicted over here also along with the pictures, that microbes are of four types. Names are bacteria, viruses, fungi and protozoa. So on viewing bacteria through microscope, their structure turned out to be like somewhat like this, as you can see over here in this picture, that this bacteria, they somewhat look like this. This is the microscopic picture, okay, which you are seeing over here. So this is bacteria, these are viruses, these green colored pictures. This is of fungi. Okay, this is the body structure of fungi, and these are the protozoan or protozoa. These are very, very microorganisms. Okay, they are so small, so tiny in shape and size that we cannot see them with our naked eyes, with our open eyes. That's why an instrument was discovered that is called microscope, with the help of which the shape and size and the body structure of these microorganisms are now known to us. Okay. Okay, now let's get to the second thing which is being told over here, that some bacteria they cause diseases like typhoid and tuberculosis. Yes, now two name of some diseases are given over here which are caused by bacteria, that you have to learn, that you have to keep in your mind along with their spellings. Okay, so first microorganism was bacteria. So in such cases where bacterial diseases or bacteria proves to be harmful for us, proves to be causal agent of some kind of diseases, is that some bacteria they can cause diseases, they can cause illness like typhoid and tuberculosis. Okay. Second, some fungi cause skin diseases like ringworm and athlete's foot. Okay, some fungi. The disease caused due to bacterial infection. The name of such diseases is typhoid and tuberculosis. Okay, and the disease caused by fungi, it is skin diseases, skin related problems like rashes, like skin irritation. Okay, so fungi cause skin diseases like ringworm and athlete's foot. In case of athlete's foot, there is huge swelling in the foot. Okay, in the leg there is huge amount of swelling, so that's why the name is athlete's foot. Next one is some viruses cause diseases like polio and common cold. Okay, the common cold in which there is discharge of nausea and we have a running nose. Okay, and we sneezes a lot, we coughs a lot. So these diseases are caused by the viruses, these kind of viruses. The present disease of COVID-19, it is also a viral disease, and there is also the symptoms like coughing and fever and breathlessness, respiratory related problems are there in the person suffering from this COVID-19 infection, which is again caused by a virus. Okay, so these are the names of two diseases which is caused by viruses. The names of the disease is polio. You must have seen some polio affected persons. They are not able to walk or stand straight. Okay. Now the next one. Some protozoa cause diseases like malaria and dysentery. Now malaria, you must have known and listen about malaria, that yes, it is caused by a mosquito. Mosquito is the causal agent of this protozoan. Okay, which causes malaria, and the name of the mosquito is Anopheles mosquito, and it breeds in the stagnant water. So what should we do? We should take precautionary measure. We should not let the water be stagnant, or let the water puddle collect around in and around our houses. Okay, we should not let the water collect in any of the tires or any of the containers, pots or coolers, so that these mosquitoes could also not breed over there and spread these kind of diseases like malaria. And what is dysentery? In dysentery there is loose motions, stomach is upset stomach is there, vomiting may be there, weakness. Okay, tiredness may be there. So this is dysentery, and it is caused by the microorganism called protozoa. So in the with these 4 points we have came to know about that these microorganisms, what harm, okay, what danger they can cause to human beings, which diseases is caused by which microorganisms. Okay, so this was important to know. Now, as we have seen over here, that it was written that some microbes they are useful and some are harmful. So what are the harms which this microorganism may cause, that we have seen over here in these lines. Now, uses of microbes. Now some microorganisms are useful also to us, so let's see how they are useful to us. Okay, as you can see over here, some microbes they are used to make bread and bun. Yes, In the first point I have written that some microbes, they are used to make bread and bun. You must all have eaten burger. There is a burger bun and the bread sandwich. The bread loaf is there, which is used to make sandwich and all that. So certain microorganisms, they are used in the preparation of this bread and bun. And what are the name of those microorganisms? The name of that microorganism is yeast. Yeast, yeast. And how it helps in making this bread and bun? So there is a process called fermentation, fermentation. By the fermentation process, this yeast, it acts on the sugar present in these wheat flour or the refined flour, whatever is used to make that bread or bun. This yeast act on the sugar present in that food item, and then it convert it that sugar item into carbon dioxide and ethanol. These are certain chemical compounds about which you will study in your higher classes, that what is the complete process of fermentation, how they are going to do this. Right now you just know that yes, how these microorganisms, they are useful to make bread and bun. So the name of that microorganism is yeast, and by the fermentation process, it helps in the making of this bread and bun. In the fermentation process, what does this yeast do? It just acts on the sugar present in the flour, okay, releasing carbon dioxide and ethanol, and this carbon dioxide and ethanol help in rising of this bread and bun. It is so soft, it is so the bread and bun, they are very soft to touch and very soft to taste also. So this softness comes uh, in them due to this microorganism action, yeast. Now the second point, some microbes are used to make curd from milk. Yes, you should ask your mama how she is making curd out of milk. Okay, uh, there is little curd she takes in any container, and to that curd she adds up the very little warm milk to that and leaves it overnight by covering it. So in the next morning, that milk has been converted into curd. That milk has been made into curd. So which microorganism is helping to convert milk to curd? So this is the name of that microorganism. It is called lactobacillus bacteria. What it is called? It is called lactobacillus bacteria. Here we have seen that this bacteria, some of the bacteria, they are harmful for us. They can cause diseases like typhoid and tuberculosis. But here in the useful microorganisms category, we can see that this is the name of that bacteria, that is lactobacillus bacteria, which is helping the milk to convert into curd. Okay, so this is the use of microorganisms, that this particular microorganism, lactobacillus bacteria, it is used to make curd from milk. Okay, one more use of microorganism is given over here, that is some microbes, they help in decaying of dead plants and animals. Yes, we have already studied about decomposition process, okay, in class 3. Decomposition process is simply the rotting of any dead plants or animals or any organic matter. Okay, so that is called decomposition. So decomposition process also needs the acting of microorganism on them. When these microorganisms acts on these dead plants and animals or any organic matter, for example, the dried leaves or branches or any dead organic matter, dead animals, dead bodies there. So these are the name of these microorganisms: bacteria, fungi, and earthworms. Okay, these are some organisms which help in decaying or decomposition or decomposing of the dead plants and animals. And after decomposition, these dead plants and animals, by mixing cow dung in them, they could be converted into a good manure for the agricultural or farming lands. Okay. So by decomposition process, we can get good manure also for our agricultural lands. So these were some of the things which you had to know about the topic microbes. So let's revise it once again, that the microbes, they are very tiny living things. They cannot be seen through naked eyes and they are found everywhere. And some microbes, they are useful and some are harmful. So this is just the introduction or definition or some facts which you should know about the microbes or microorganisms. Now, how many types of microbes are there? So there are 4 types of microbes: bacteria, viruses, fungi, and protozoa. You can see the picture of them also here. And then in the first paragraph, we have studied that some of the microorganisms, uh, how they are harmful for us, how they may be harmful for us. So like bacteria, they cause diseases like typhoid and tuberculosis. Fungi cause diseases of skin like ringworm and athlete's foot. Some viruses, they cause diseases like polio and common cold. And protozoa, they can cause diseases like malaria and dysentery. And then about the uses of microbes, we have seen over here that some microbes, they are used to make bread and bun. Okay. And the name of that microbes was yeast, yeast. By fermentation process, it acts on the sugar present in the bread dough and forming carbon dioxide and ethanol, due to which the softness and flexibility and taste comes in the bread and bun. And in the second point, we have seen that how the microbes, they are used to make curd from milk. The name of that particular microbe was lactobacillus bacteria. And in the third point, we have seen that some microbes, they help in decaying of dead plants and animals, or they help in the decomposition process. And the names were bacteria, fungi, earthworms. Okay. And these decaying dead plants and animals, when mixed with cow dung and left over for 2 or 3 months in any, by digging a pit, they can be converted into a good quality fertilizer or manure, natural fertilizer or manure for our agricultural fields, or even we can use in our garden. Okay, that will be very much nutrients rich, enriched with nutrients for the plants to grow over there. Okay. Okay, kids. Now, one thing which I want to show you is this section of your science book, that is, let's memorize. You can call it keywords or definitions also. If the question comes to write keywords or to write definitions of these particular terms, then you have to write these definitions. Okay, so this section can be called let's memorize or keywords or definitions. So quickly let's see what is the first term. First is temporary teeth. The first set of teeth in a child is called temporary or milk teeth. I have already explained this thing, that whatever first set of teeth comes in a child, when the child is newborn, for 6 months it remains toothless, then slowly teeth start coming in his or her mouth. So that first set of teeth which in a child is present, that is called temporary or milk teeth. Permanent teeth, the set of teeth that takes the place of milk teeth, is called permanent teeth. But at the age of 6 or 7 years, the milk teeth start falling one by one and its place is taken over by a new and strong teeth which is little larger in size than the milk teeth, and those teeth are called permanent teeth. And in an adult, the number of permanent teeth is 32, 16 in the upper jaw, 16 in the lower jaw. Then next term is enamel. It is the outermost white part of a tooth is called enamel, which is visible to us in our mouth. The white colored portion of our teeth which is present, that is known as enamel, and it is the hardest part of our body. Then there was plaque. It is a yellow sticky layer formed by germs on teeth, is called plaque. Yes, if we are not cleaning our teeth properly, if we will not maintain proper oral hygiene, not brush our teeth, then a yellow sticky layer will start forming, which is caused by some kind of germs on the teeth, and this yellow sticky layer, in scientific term, it is known as plaque. Then there was digestion. The process of breaking down of food into simpler substances is called digestion, that I have already explained you through this diagram and through all these digestive organs. We have seen this process of digestion, that how the food items, the food materials which we eat in our body is going to be digested completely, so that whatever nutrient is present in that food item, they could reach to our blood or to each and every cells and tissues of our body, so that we could get energy to do work and maintain our well-being. So the process of breaking down of food into its simpler substances is called digestion. And last was of microbes, which we have right now discussed, that very tiny, very small living things that can only be seen with a microscope are called microbes, or which cannot be seen with naked eyes and only be seen with the help of microscope are known as microbes. They are of 4 types: bacteria, viruses, fungi, protozoa. Some are harmful, they can cause diseases like this, and some are useful. And then along with the names of these useful microorganisms, I have told you. So in this class only this much, and this second chapter, second topic of us is now over. Explanation part is over of this chapter. Soon I will upload the PDF of this chapter on your Snapwork. So please follow the videos properly and the Snapwork homeworks also. In the next part of the video, we will discuss the book exercises as well as the question answers of this particular chapter. Till then, whatever I have taught you till now in your science as well as in your maths, just keep on revising that. Okay? Keep on practicing the things which I am giving you to do. Keep on learning the question answers, as well as let's memorize or keywords or definition sections, as we have already completed now 2 chapters. First chapter explanation as well as book exercises, diagrams, question answers I have already explained. I have already uploaded the videos and the related PDF on the Snapwork. So just go through it and maintain your work very much properly. Okay. So thank you for the class.